One of the most common questions that writers get asked is, where do you get your ideas? And for me, getting ideas or inspiration, it really comes from everywhere. It comes from past experiences, it comes from day to day life. For me, I think I tend to write to music, and writing for me is very cinematic instead of literary. So when I write, kind of think of it like a movie in my head. And when I go back and read through the writing, I like to think of, maybe how that would look scene to scene. I cast all the characters with popular actors. I know that's really silly, but I do. I keep Pinterest boards. I use all the media that's available online to sort of organize thoughts in my head. And that's really all I can say about that. Inspiration comes from everywhere. Another question that authors frequently get asked is, who are your favorite authors, and how did those authors inspire you or make you want to write? And my favorite authors are Anne Rice, James Reese, and Jacqueline Carey. The three are similar, I think, in how lush and evocative their imagery is. And I started reading Anne Rice when I was a teenager, as a lot of people did, and I actually grew up just about a block away from Anne Rice's house on Prytania Street. And so she was a big influence to me. I read the Vampire Chronicles, I read the Mayfair Witches. I think the Mayfair Witches was more of an inspiration for me to start writing. I think Anne Rice's work did make me start writing. When I was a teenager, I wrote vampire stories that were very similar to Anne Rice's stuff and probably not publishable by anybody's standards, but it was creative writing and I absolutely loved it. James Reese, he is the author of the Book of Shadows series, and I loved his imagery. It was deep and lush and rich and the kind of book that you could just fall into. Jacqueline Carey was the first fantasy author that I ever read, and it was actually just a few years ago. I wasn't into fantasy until Jacqueline Carey, and Firefly was my science fiction entry-level thing. Jacqueline Carey wrote, among other things, the Kushiel's Dart series, which if you have a chance to read, it's amazing. The beginning of it takes a little while to get into, but once you are in, it's a completely different world. It's amazing. And I think those three authors have been responsible for sort of shaping my imagination and making me seriously want to be a writer. Another question that authors get asked a lot, writers get asked a lot, is what is your process? And that is so different for everybody. The process can be vastly different. For me, I try to write every other day. I used to try to write every day and then I found it stressful. So I write every other day and I try to do about 1,500 to 2,000 words every other day. I find that if I write any more than that, it's kind of word vomit. So I try to keep it at that amount. I sit down at my desk. My desk has to be completely cleaned off. Like there can't be anything on it because I'm a little OCD. And I turn off Facebook. I turn off all my social media because if it's there, it's like in my head and I feel a need. That little ding happens up in the corner and I'm like, okay, gotta go check. Can't do that. I shut my door. I'm lucky that I live in a place where people are pretty quiet. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I have to have a cup of coffee, really strong black coffee. And that's it. I have no other special little ritual. Oh, the other thing is I actually can't have a good view. If there's a window with a good view, I'm going to be looking at it instead of writing. So I kind of like being in a dark cave, like a little cave troll. Cave troll suits me. I like Thank you for watching my video. I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign on crowdbolster.com, which is a brand new crowdfunding company. It's very different. There's accountability measures and blogs and all kinds of really cool stuff. So you guys definitely check that out. My book is called Thornwood, The Truth in the Flame, and it's going to be out very soon. Right now I'm working on fundraising for the publication of my book, and I'll let you guys know when that's up and ready. So definitely check out my crowdfunding campaign at crowdbolster.com, and check out my website, which is brand new, and you can find that at www.rowanafton.com. And at rowanafton.com, you're going to actually be able to download sample chapters of the book and see character profiles, and coming soon is actually going to be character art, which I'm really excited about. So definitely check out both, and if you have time and are inclined to do so, please support my campaign. It doesn't take much, and every little bit does help. So thank you for watching, and Merry Met.